for me and my new bike in Proctor Creek from Westside Park. It's been a minute since I've made a video, and I believe that it's been a minute because I've been in process and I'm in a period of transition. And it's not that anything's changing around me. I redecorated my house, which I spoke about last video. I will share now. But mostly the transformation's happening within, and that's the best kind. And it's been hard for me to really want to come put words to anything yet, because when you're in the midst, you're just like, let me not. What I have come to the conclusion of as I'm coming out of this is, I think the most important thing any of us can do in this moment is learning to regulate our nervous systems. And I've spoken about this a million times. At the moment, there's a million things that's going to dysregulate us, and learning how to find this in the middle of the city, which means find peace in the middle of chaos, is the most important thing you can do. But I think perhaps I've never really understood that as a complete concept until recently. It is as important to learn to remain in your energy no matter what's going on around you. Ooh, that's where the power is. Yes, regulating. First step, most important, how do you regulate? Just as important, second step, how do you stay there? So, story time. I was out with a friend celebrating summer solstice, my favorite time. I am just so obsessed with the aliveness of the earth. I am a summer baby. I was born in August, so peak summer. And I love the light. I love the green. I love the lushness. I love the heat. I love the pop-up rainstorms. I love the passion. It's just all the fire of summer is my favorite. My friend and I go out, and we literally had just talked about it, a comment from a group of girls not bothering me. And a dude sits down and engages with my friend, and they get involved in a conversation that I'm immediately triggered by and feel the need to insert myself into the conversation. Mind you, I recognized in the moment, this isn't a conversation I want to engage in. This isn't something that I believe in. I want nothing to do with this. Yet, however, I did not stay in my energy. I got sucked into dudes. And because my friend also got sucked into dudes, I got sucked into his. And yeah, the whole night was thrown out of whack. Thankfully, the next day I came here, did a lot of walking, and I had this whole thought of, I know who I am. I know the energy I carry. I know what I stand for. I know what I believe in. And I don't need to engage in things that are out of alignment. I didn't even need to involve myself in the conversation. I could have just gotten up and walked away. I could have been like, y'all have fun with this. I'm going to go outside because it's a nice day, or whatever it may be. But instead I engaged. And so it was a really important way to take note of the fact that I just want to stay in my own energy. And that should not be confused with not caring about what's going on in the world. Absolutely, we have to care about what's going on in the world. But having the capacity to regulate your nervous system and stay in that regulated place despite what's going on in the world is how you have the capacity to hold the weight of everything without it collapsing you, right? I want to be able to say, oh my gosh, I care so much about people suffering. And while I am in a safe place, I'm going to honor that and live in reverence and take care of myself and do all of my things so that I'm able to care about people who are not in the same place. And so staying in your own energy doesn't mean I'm disassociated, I'm disconnected, I don't care. It means I care so much, but I also need to stay in a very regulated place so that I can bring you love and peace and hopefulness from an actual, real, grounded place and not be triggered and weighed down and reactive. Because when you respond from a nervous system that's really regulated, it's calm, it's peaceful, and that energy is so contagious. We know this. You're around somebody who is like a Debbie Downer, and you instantly feel that same, oh my gosh, doom and gloom. If you're around someone who's like, okay, let me acknowledge the reality, but like, what can we do? How can we raise the vibration of the world? How can we hold each other in community? How can we support each other? How can we prepare in case things turn into craziness here? How can we build such a loving community that we as a collective can survive this? How can we stay regulated so that we're not reacting, but instead we're choosing how to respond? Oof. Now, when I say this, sometimes I'll say things and it's not so easy. But you saw, I just got extremely dysregulated by some rando at a bar. There's been a million times when I tried to discount the fact that I'm feeling called to be somebody who builds a bridge and helps heal people, because I'm one person. What actually can I do? And then I've actually been able to witness when I am in a place of peace, a place of love, a place of groundedness, of being regulated, I am able to see the impact I have on everyone around me. And that's a very real thing. It's very tangible. You can't take that away from somebody. And I can't discount that because I've witnessed it firsthand through my clients, through my friends, through strangers that I just like having a random interaction with. And I've also witnessed being on the other side of somebody who's just so beautifully grounded and present and trying to remain in this like hopeful place despite everything going on around them, and how good that it feels to be in their energy and how much it inspires me to want to like carry on the same. And so I'm just here to remind you that this whole I'm just one person, like that's like said by a million people. But if a million people are all actually living in this energy of, wait a minute, let me regulate myself so that I can then be out here holding a safe space for everyone, kind of hopefully helping people find their regulated selves, right? And that ripple was real. You just keep reaching more and more people with that kind of peaceful, positive, hopeful, just possibility of what if the world could actually get better energy, and what if we could make choices of love and peace energy, and what if there is another way? That ripple gets bigger and bigger. Self-awareness to me is always like the sexiest thing in the world, but it can't just be self-awareness of like what you do well or what you do poorly, because if it's what you do poorly, that's like neurosis, right? Self-awareness becomes neurotic to the point of being like, oh my gosh, every time I have a bad thought, if you're only self-aware of all your gifts and what you do well, it's a tad bit of narcissism. Just waving at people watching me make a video. Working on the art of being okay being seen, being in my element. And isn't it funny how out of alignment it is for me to be like, ooh, I don't want anyone to see me. Yet I keep asking the universe to show me to more people. We gotta pay attention to the way in which the things we say and the things we say don't always line up. And that's what I'm talking about here. I always say I want to be a messenger of love. I want to stay in my own energy. I want to be peace. I want to help people regulate their nervous systems. And the most important way I do that is to work through me. Period. Okay, so if you're thinking, that all sounds wonderful, Hope, but I need help learning to regulate my nervous system, and I need to know how to stay in my own energy. Well, you're in luck. There are so many ways to regulate your nervous system. And I want to remind you that we as humans have very individual responses to things. So I want you to figure out what works best for you. But here is a few that you can try on. 1, go outside. especially in green spaces. Be active, walk, bike, take a hike, anything that's moving things out of your body, doing yoga, breathing, whether it's a meditation or a breathing exercise or, the square breathing where you count in a certain number, hold, let out, hold, sighing or humming, or breath like you're blowing out a candle and you're just blowing all of the things out. Journal. How many times, if you could do a search through my YouTube history, how many times has your girl talked about journaling? Write your feelings, write your process, write possibility. Writing is such a beautiful way to regulate your nervous system. Take a bath, salt bath, shower, rinse it off. If you're feeling so dysregulated that you're having a hard time being able to manage just anything, talk to somebody. It doesn't have to be me, but it could be. But seriously, this is when a professional is their most useful in your life, because us being able to hold a space for you while you come and spiral out, and us see you and witness you and just validate everything that's happening, but then gently give you your power back to regulate. It's the reason therapy works. Okay, so cool. How do we then stay regulated? Very good question. This one, I believe, requires a lot more practice. Remember, it's all a practice. Like, I don't want anyone to ever feel as if they're supposed to be perfect. This is note to self. It's a practice of self-awareness and self-accountability, gentleness, realignment, and simply being aware of what it was that brought you out of your energy. This is why I have spoken about self-awareness being the sexiest quality of a human, because it genuinely requires an awareness of, oh, I'm not in my energy right now. I've been triggered or influenced or pulled down. And sometimes, let's be real, you can be pulled up. And that's one of those moments where you can recognize, I want to learn how to stay in this space on my own and not need somebody else to pull me up. But awareness, basically, step one, recognize when you are no longer in your energy, and then remove yourself from the situation so that you can go recalibrate. And then assess, do I need to stay in this situation or do I need to leave this situation in order to stay in my energy? Sometimes that's not possible, right? Sometimes you can't. So there's gentle ways. Hand on back. Somebody asks what you're doing. Oh, my back hurts. But really, you're sending yourself love and energy, your support, calling yourself back to your body. You can always do the grounding like a tree meditation. If you're sitting out somewhere and you're starting to feel like you're getting sucked up into everyone else's stuff, plant your feet. Just visualize you growing roots down into earth, and then visualize breathing in the roots and asking, hey, help me return to my energy as you exhale. And then breathing into the groundedness, into yourself. With the understanding that it's a practice, every experience we have is a lesson. It's a chance to show us something that we need to do differently, or we get to do differently. We get to do differently. How much better does that sound than need to do differently? And I looked at that experience on Friday no longer in a place of frustration, but love. For myself, for my friend, and even the person who my friend and I later, as we had this conversation, joked, was he even real? Like, was he just sent from the universe to be like, haha, y'all still have work to do? His presence simply came as a mirror for work that was still left to do for he and I. When you look at it from a place of love, there's no longer anger. It kind of even gets rid of the disappointment of all of it. And what really ends up happening is you say, this is what next time I'm in this situation, I'm going to try to do differently. I'm in my own power. I make my own choices. I don't have to engage in BS. and neither do you. Well, we live in a world right now where we have to think about this on a bigger scale because what's going on around us is heavy and triggering and scary, and like there's so many things that I am not energetically aligned with. However, I have very little control over a lot of the things happening outside of me. The only thing I have control of is how am I staying regulated and how am I being love to everyone I come in contact with? How am I uplifting those who are impacted? How am I holding space for everyone I come into contact with? And it all starts with me. And so on a bigger scale, this man at the bar triggering me reminds me of the way in which the world is here to do that. The world is here to dysregulate us so that we are not operating from a place of clarity and peace and our highest selves. And we have to actively say, not today, honey. I'm going to stay regulated. I'm going to choose my breath. I'm going to choose my own thoughts. I'm going to choose peace instead of reaction. I'm going to see myself making the choice as the girl who is aligned. And that girl will remove herself from a situation. And then she will take her butt outside to go regulate. Just please remember, whatever work you have to do for yourself to feel at peace and to feel safe and to feel regulated and to feel that sense of calmness, please make that investment. It's the most important thing you can do for yourself ever. It's the most important thing you can do for the world ever. And if you don't know what that looks like, if you don't know what it feels like to actually feel peace in your body, you need to start thinking about it. How does that girl move? How does she react? What habits does she have? What thoughts does she have? What are the people around her? Where are the places she goes? And start doing that. And if you need help, if you are so dysregulated because the world's got you, because it's got its like sticky little hands out here just trying to grab everyone. If you need help, it's okay to ask for help. It is so important that you just find your center of gravity right now. And you do everything you can to practice staying in that center of gravity. Because that is how we're going to fix this whole chaos around us, or at least, at the very least, survive it. Okay, love you, bye.